Hello, everyone. My name is Tim B. Green, and this is Crush It Club episode 28. This is the 28th consecutive day I've made a video. And it's also the third video I've made today because I had to re-record two, which I screwed up and left with no sound. So I had to delete them and re-record them. Now, this gets kind of to the point of this episode. Episode 28 is pull the trigger and start. Kind of the same thing, but pull the trigger just wasn't going to look quite cool enough on here. It wasn't going to fit the arch. It was going to be too big. So pull the trigger and start. This is the number one thing. One of my models, which I named, and the name matters because people get what it is when you name it well. The craft of wording well is elusive, complicated, and I think takes a lifetime to master. I'm not a master. I don't suck, but pull the trigger and start is good. It makes it clear for what this video is about. And that is most people fail by not starting. You can't possibly finish unless you start. And that's why the model I was talking about, which I call immediately actionable solutions, is based on, I first learned about the idea through Tony Robbins, but I've heard it a lot of other places, and my own life and experience has been the same thing. It's just like you have to get started. The sooner the better. It should be a concrete action you can do immediately. So an immediate, concrete, specific action. Now, the reason it makes sense to be talking about this with respect to these videos is I pulled the trigger and started. I have a time limit, not only on the length of the video, but more important, the length I have to post it, which means not all of them have subtitles yet and maybe never will. Number one, I have one priority for the entire day, and that is to finish this video. And if I have time, correct the subtitles and hard code the subtitles onto the video so it will show even if you don't have the ability to turn on subtitles. The video, no matter where I post it, will have English subtitles on here. So there's a certain amount of imperfection, but here's the thing, as it has been said by I'm not sure who, I think it's actually a pretty ancient saying, a well begun is half done. Another one I really love is progress, not perfection, or it was actually Body for Life. Is it Bill Phillips or something like that? Anyway, I followed that system for a long time, and it's pretty good. I haven't done it in a long time, but his point was very simple and very obvious. You train for progress, not perfection. If you never start, if you want to go perfect, then that literally means you need infinite preparation time, which is just really an excuse to not do it. You can't take the responsibility for failing, which is just learning, for winning or losing. If you never start, the people say, well, I could have done that. I didn't do it, but if I did, I would have crushed it. Okay, I would say, shut the fuck up and show me. So if there's one thing you start in life, I don't care whether you're 20. If you're 20, you should do it now. So you should be a bored multimillionaire by the time you're my age if you have something you want to do, because you don't know how long it's going to take. It's already taken me, we're approaching 20 years at really doing it, but let's say 10 plus years of committed hard work. And I'm finally at the edge of being where I want to be. Most people, it doesn't take that long, especially if you have a good teacher, a good mentor. And I'm not just selling on that. I spent 2 years trying to figure out social media for myself, and I've done pretty good. I know more than most, or at least as much as most experts, except most experts aren't really experts, unfortunately. So I've so far hired 2 new coaches. I may be doing a third, and I'm going deeper with one of them because with all the things I'm doing well, I haven't cracked the code of how to convert my social media, my principles, my business into a consistent conversion from prospect, from people who like what I do, into paying clients. If I haven't done it in 2 years, how stupid do I have to be to not say, okay, the piece I'm missing, somebody else knows and has already done successfully. Had I not started 2 years ago, I would be starting now and 2 years from now figuring this out. So it doesn't matter what you do, you have to start. You can and should adjust along the way, and you have a clear vision for what your end destination is that you want it to look like. There'll be so many variables you can't possibly imagine, like COVID. 5 years ago, COVID wasn't a variable for anybody. Nobody could anticipate it. So if you do this one thing, you will ultimately be successful. How long it takes and what form that success takes, until you do something in the real world, that is, pull the trigger and start, until you take some action, you can't get feedback. I know some people who started and became almost immediately successful. It had very little to do with them. They're exceptional human beings. They have lots of skill, lots of talent, lots of work ethic. I won't say exceptional, but I have lots of effort, lots of knowledge, lots of everything they have, but it worked for them and it didn't for me. Does it mean they did something different and right? Maybe and maybe not. I know one in particular who just happened to get lucky where they were just offered their first big contract. That hasn't happened for me, but I can't whine about that or anything else, and I'm not. My point is, until you get started, not knowing how long it's going to take, get started. If you can afford, and be very careful about who you select, be educated before you hire a coach or teacher. Make sure that you know the topic well enough to know whether they know a lot more than you. I've read maybe 20 or 30 books on social media and marketing and stuff. I don't know. I've never really kept track, but enough to know that most people who claim to be experts know no more than I do. So when in recent time, a few months ago, my first coach said something I had no idea about, knew nothing about, it was like, okay, here's a coach I can hire because they know nothing, or they know something I know nothing about. That, in essence, is what your coach should be, is someone who can teach you, even if it's one piece that you're missing. After 2 years of getting feedback, I have to stop and turn off an alarm. I thought I'd shut those off. After 2 years of getting feedback from the universe, more like the objective world, the objective universe, it's told me, you've done a lot of things well, Tim. You've learned a lot, but there's a missing piece and you haven't figured it out on your own. So now it's time to set your ego and your intellect aside and say, okay, other people I know have figured this out. It's worth investing as much as I can, short of being homeless and all that other stuff, to get the piece I'm missing so that I can convert this into consistently converting, paying clients for all the things of value, which are many, that I offer. I wouldn't have been able to do this. I wouldn't be here today unless I had started at the beginning of COVID and ramped it up. And I wouldn't have been on my 28th episode of 2022 unless I actually pulled the trigger and started. These are 10-minute videos max, but sounds everywhere. That's my toast. Sounds everywhere. So you have to get started, or you can't get the feedback to learn to adjust to then ultimately succeed, or strategically quit, and that is find something better to do. But whatever you do, until you start, it's all theoretical. Pull the trigger and start. This has been Crush It Club, episode 28. My name is Tim B. Green. Bye for now.